Hey now, how you doing, Kings? I hope you all are doing good. No pipe this morning. However, what I want to talk about does have something to do, actually everything to do, with smoking pipes, the tobaccos. This isn't a review, but these are just some of the things I want to talk about that I wonder if you guys experience too. So, throughout my pipe smoking journey, if that's what you want to call it, I've been learning certain things that bother me and certain things that make me happy, right? Let's talk about one of the things that I'm still having a very difficult time trying to find when it comes to pipe tobacco, right? And this is what I've learned over the years. Now, on pipe reviews and all this other stuff that you can read online or watch people's videos of their take on it or their taste of a preferred tobacco or a brand of tobacco or a specific blend, I've learned that everybody's taste is completely different, and to not believe everything that you see is written, not to believe in what people's opinions are of it, because you have to taste them yourself to know if you're going to like them, right? So far to date, this is what I've learned, especially room note or how it smells to other people. This is where in lies the rub for me, because certain blends, more than not, in my case, smoke and taste okay to me. They taste good. I mean, it's not like I would chuck them in the garbage, you know. They taste okay to me, but to somebody else, like my wife, for example, she will say, on the other hand, that it's smelling up the house. Now, I'm in the garage. The garage is attached to the house, but she'll come flat out and say it. She don't like the smell of it. She don't like the smell of a certain tobacco. Others she doesn't mind. Others she really likes. But a vast majority of them that I really, really like to smoke, very few of those that I truly like to smoke is something that she likes to smell, if that makes any sense. So finding that balance between a smoke that you really enjoy in comparison to something that other people don't mind smelling, I have not found that golden proverbial unicorn blend for that. And I've been smoking a pipe for a long time, and I've still yet to find it. And the irony of that is I'm going to say, out of, let's say, for example, let's take a small survey out of the last 5 to 8 years. that I've smoked a pipe away from my house, meaning out in general public. Out of that time frame, one person made a comment of how good it smelled, and it reminded them of their ex-husband or whatever the case is. One time. Now the rest of the time is not liking the smell. The wife doesn't care for it. It doesn't smell good. What's that smell? It smells like foot, or it smells like a gym locker, whatever the case is. Whatever it is that she doesn't like about that specific blend. It's not, don't get me wrong, it's not like I sit there and smoke a pipe in front of people all day, every day. I'm not a people person. The more I'm left alone, the better off I am. If I'm in my own element, if I'm in my garage, or which I call a shop, or if I'm home, and my exposure to people is limited, I'm fine, right? When I get around groups of people is what I don't like. I'm that type of person that will literally sit in the car and I'll let the wife do the shopping. I don't care. She'll vouch for it. There's times where if I had to be the one to go out and do the shopping, 9 times out of 10 I'll do it in the middle of the night, just to avoid people. This is how anti-people I am, okay? But to go over that synopsis of all that time of smoking away from the house, I've received one compliment. And being around the people I'm around the most, having them not enjoy the smell of or the aroma of that specific blend seems to be very difficult for me to find a balance. And I'm curious to know if you guys experience the same thing. That's one thing I've learned. Is literally every taste is different. Every body is different. For example, there's been blends that people rave and howl over the moon for. And I've tried them only to jar them up and put them away because, frankly, I just didn't enjoy it. It didn't live up to the hype of that specific blend. There's certain, what's the word I'm looking for? There's certain companies that they'll market a specific type of tobacco or a specific blend that I may not agree with their marketing, for example, which will stop me from making that purchase of that specific blend, which is fine. I mean, that's just my preference. But what I've learned is that you can only trust your own taste. But even in then, I'm learning that my tastes have a tendency to not be correct all the time too. I mean, hell, I even bite my own tongue, so it's hard to trust. I do have a trust issue, right? So if I can bite my own tongue on accident and not do it on purpose, then it's that much more difficult for me to believe in somebody else's word, yeah? So that's what I've learned as far as in my pipe journey of learning to solely depend on yourself and on your own opinion of a tobacco before you believe anybody else. Because some of these reviews are just not what they say they are. And I feel like that may be misleading to some people that may just be brand new, that may just be starting to smoke a pipe. and that are getting involved into the hobby or lifestyle or whatever it is you want to call it. And that could deter them in a big way. And I could see why. Um, there's so many variables when it comes to pipe tobaccos and the pipe in general. It's amazing to me how a person can find one true consistent smoke that they enjoy every time, each time that they light their pipe, right? Granted, I haven't been smoking for decades like some of the people here have been. I'm relatively new to the game as far as the pipe smoking industry is concerned, or the pipe smoking hobby is across the board. I mean, the thing of it is I can literally take the same tobacco out of the same jar, the same blend, utilizing the same pipe or series of pipes. I could try that same blend in different pipes, whether it be a corncob pipe, whether it be a hardwood meerschaum, whether it be a pipe that was made for me, or a briar. And some people make the statement or claim that they can taste a distinct difference in between the two. I can't. My personal palate, I'm not able to decipher or pick apart different elements or different nuances, if you will, of that specific tobacco. But I've literally taken the same tobacco from the same jar, put it in the same pipe, literally the same time of day in the morning, for example, and depending on my mood, depending on, Christ, I don't know, even the weather, it could make the smoke enjoyable or not. And it's weird. And I know I can't be the only one that experiences this. So if I've got to meander my way through all these different variables of what time of day it is, what kind of mood am I in, am I feeling adventurous and want to try a new tobacco, do I feel like I just want a reliable smoke, or do I just not give a shit and just need something to get the nick hit from, kind of like a cigarette. What is it? What tobacco am I going to choose? Because to me, personally, this is just me personally saying it, across the board, every time I light up a pipe, it's a crapshoot. There's no consistent, every time, every smoke, it's enjoyable, I like it. It just doesn't happen. And I think that's a misconception, or naivety, if you want to call it, or whatever word you want to use to describe that situation, is pretty much commonplace. At least I feel it's commonplace across the board for everybody. I could be wrong. If not, tell me. I'm not afraid to admit I'm wrong, but this is what I'm feeling, and this is what I'm learning, right? It's it's a learning curve. It's a big learning curve. And for me, I haven't found that unicorn smoke. I haven't found the one that I'm just so awestruck and fell in love with that it knocks my boots off. I haven't experienced that yet. Is there one out there that exists? Maybe. Am I going to find it? Maybe. I don't know. But it's to me, it's worth the try to try a different tobacco, as long as it's within budget. Some of the tobaccos to me are not worth the cost. So, I mean, you could have the finest tobacco in all the world at $50 an ounce. And if my palate is not able to, or if I'm not skilled enough to decipher those nuances of that specific tobacco, then it's wasted on me. Yeah. So that's what I've learned is there's a lot of things with the pipe that it just is what it is because of what it is. To quote Porch Piper Tom, great guy. To quote him, because it is what it is what it is. You know, these are just some of the things I think about, but I'm not sure I see a lot of people talking about it because of the fact of either they don't want to, or they don't want to shed bad light on it, or whatever the case is. They just don't talk about it. But, I mean, I've been known to give to gab, so I mean, you can even ask the wife. I could talk the balls off a brass monkey. Granted, that doesn't make me a people person. However, what it does make me do is able to talk to somebody or to something like I'm doing now in my own time, on my own terms, say my piece, and that's that, you know? So that's what I've learned so far. Also, the thing that baffles me is I've taken a tin of Peterson's University Flake, right? And then I could take Peter Stokkebye Luxury Flake, and I can set them two side by side. And I'm telling you, they look identical. I'm not saying or implying that it's the same tobacco, but it's just made by a different person or made by a different company. I'm just saying they look identical. And in those pipes back there, the same two hardwood mushrooms, side by side, I lit up both of those at the same time, smoked them both all the way through, and I could not tell the difference. Now, is that a common thing in the pipe smoking world? I don't know. Maybe. I just know for a fact by working with certain individuals in the cigar industry, for example, that there are limited numbers of manufacturers and makers of tobacco products in the cigar world, right? There's only so many factories. There's only so many people producing cigars. And then there's what they call a spin-off version of, or a knockoff version of, or a match in the pipe world, a match tobacco of a certain type of tobacco blend, right? So it's the same thing in the cigar world, where you could have literally the same cigar. You could rip the bands off the cigars and you can have somebody smoke them, and they can't tell you what brand it is. They can't tell you where, what company it come from. So is that the same thing that's happening or that's taking place in the pipe smoking world? Because it happens in the cigar world, I'm here to tell you. All the way up to private label. You can have your own label. You could do the artwork up and have your own label put on the band that's put on a cigar that's already made and pre-rolled, and call that your own line, right? I'm sure they do the same thing in the pipe world. And that just makes me think to myself that, especially with the whole, you know, McBaron and all that stuff, you know, in the pipe smoking world, that, you know, McBaron, you know, all these blends are going to disappear, blah 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 blah. It's parts of me think to myself, there's going to be somebody else that steps in and takes place. If that's the type of product that they're making and it's making good money, they're obviously not going to let go of money, right? So I'm sure it'll be picked up and produced by somebody somewhere. I'm sure of it. I could be wrong. You could say to me, hey, Leatherneck Piper, you're full of shit. And I would say, okay, maybe I am, but that's just the way I feel, you know. But in the tobacco industry across the board, from cigars to pipes, my general learning knowledge of all that is this. Very few people, and I mean this in every literal sense, very few people on this planet have the skills, the wherewithal, the experience, the palate, and the ability to decipher any nuances, any type of flavor profiles, any type of blend that there is, and be able to pick that apart to the point to where they can call that their own blend, or they can call it X company's blend, or Z company's blend, or Y company's blend. To me, it's all packaged and repackaged and under a different name, and it's the same product over and over, just a little bit of thing changed or altered. You know, the age-old adage that there's nothing new under the sun. It's true. That's basically a true statement. So I've learned that you have to take pipe smoking with a grain of salt. I mean, do I like to try different tobaccos? Sure, I do. But the thing of it is if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So that's why a lot of times I'll lean towards a cigarette. Why? Because a cigarette is consistent. It gives me the nicotine I need. There's no must, there's no fuss, there's no nothing. You just pull one out of the friggin' pack and you light it, yeah? It's not more nuanced, it's not more ritualistic, it's not more meditative, if you will, like it is with a pipe or even a cigar to some people. Because I enjoy pipes, I enjoy cigars. Been a cigar smoker for years, pipe smoker for years, cigarette smoker for years. I haven't vaped or anything else like that. If I'm going to smoke something, it's, God damn it, it's going to be tobacco, you know. I just feel like there's certain companies, there's certain products that don't live up to the hype, and I'm still looking for that golden unicorn smoke that everybody talks about or raves about. And parts of me feel like, man, those people are really lucky, especially if they, you know, they make a video on it, they're head over heels over this specific blend. That makes me so happy for them. It really does. But in all reality, for me personally, Leatherneck Piper, I don't feel that I've even come close to finding this proverbial unicorn blend. And I've tried so many different tobaccos, it's not even funny. Majority of them I just jarred up because they just didn't suit me, maybe at that given time, or maybe my palate isn't developed enough. Whatever. Yeah, you can learn, you can try out different tobaccos and all that stuff, but when it comes to some of the videos and the reviews, it kind of makes me chuckle because everybody's taste is different, you know, and it's okay. And the thing that really opened my eyes to that was that Smoker's Pride Cavendish that I raved about, the big bag. I smoked the shit out of that, yeah, and it's dirt cheap in comparison to other tobaccos of the tins and the flakes and all that stuff, and that's great. But I discounted it at first because I made the assumption, which I shouldn't have assumed anything. That was my fault. I assume that, if you wanted a proper pipe enjoyment tobacco experience, that you needed to go higher end, higher expense, higher cost tobacco. And that's just not the case. At least that's what I've learned. Uh, some of the blends that, you can buy at the local bodega for, you know, less than $1 an ounce, for crying out loud, is better than, to me, is better than the higher end Cavendishes from whoever, So it's this is what I'm learning, and that I feel like nobody is talking about. I don't know if it's because, like I said, I don't know if it's because they don't want to. I don't know if it's because they don't want to come out and say it. I'll say it. I don't give a shit, right? But that's just one of the things. That's just some of the things, not one, but some of the things I wanted to talk about, because those were hard-learned lessons that cost me time, money, and some aggravation, because you have this concept or this idea, you go into a tobacco feeling a certain thing about it, or because you saw so many videos and you heard so many great reviews and you read this and you read that, and then by the time it's in your pipe and it's going through your nose and you're experiencing the tobacco for the first time, even with an open mind, and it ain't for shit for you at that time, it's disheartening. It makes people, it would make me not want to pick up the pipe again for a little while, which has been the case. In the past has been the case. And it still happens to me at least once or twice a month where I light a pipe. And I'm sitting there, I'm smoking the pipe, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm just not enjoying it. And I set it down. 3, 4, 5 days later, I go back to the same pipe. I light it again. It's not bad that time. Still not maybe as enjoyable as I want it to be, but it's not bad, right? So what I do at that point is I take the pipe cleaning tool and I clean that out, and then dump all the crap out of it and put it into the ashtray. So that's just because of the time or because of the mood or whatever, but I know I can't be the only person to experience this. So I just wanted to share that with you, of the things that I've learned when it comes to pipe tobacco, pipe smoking type of thing. And that doesn't only include tobacco. I mean, it goes right down to the pipes too. I mean, you can have the highest end pipes that cost hundreds of dollars, or you can have something that's handmade for you, special for you, by a pipe maker, and that could be very sentimental, and because of the mere fact that you put an emotional attachment to that individual object, it makes you want to believe that that type of pipe is perfect. And it may be, and that's happened to me. A prized possession, from Hester Pipes, for example, the one that he made for me. I love that pipe, and it smokes great. I compare that pipe to my Savinelli. It's not even in the same ballpark. And Savinelli is much more expensive and much more manufactured, mass-produced product than Hester Pipes is, right? So even with the pipes, it's a crapshoot, because 9 times out of 10 on a day-to-day smoke every day are those. And those cost me what, $3? $3 and change at the local bodega? $3 and change? And some of those, this one in particular, where is it? There, I've had for 3 years. It didn't burn out. There's no hole in it. For 3 years. It's less than a buck a year for a pipe. And it smokes the shit out of damn near every pipe I got, besides the Hester pipe. I'm going to even go out as far as a limb and say that the Cobb pipe smoked better than my Savinelli. And it ain't going to cost me nothing if I sit on it or shove it in my pocket or throw it in my, hoodie jacket pocket or whatever. And if I break it, I break it. I'm out $3. Versus a really high-end sit down in a nice chair and give yourself that 45-minute time frame to have a smoke. That's a beautiful thing, and it's enjoyable. Yeah, sure, it is. But for the everyday working guy like myself that is banging around and moving around, and you still want that smoke, you still want a tobacco pipe, you still want the tobacco to be lit in your pipe, and you want to be able to have that feeling of enjoyment. For me personally, a $3 pipe will do the job. And a bag of what I've read in most comments, floor scrapings or floor droppings in a bag, 12-ounce bag for, less than $12, that'll last you 6 months, That's where the value is saving your money and having an enjoyable smoke, yeah? So it's a crapshoot to me. To me personally, listen, look. I've been told multiple times by multiple different people that I have got a very utilitarian style about me. And I get that. I'm all about utility. I don't care about flash. Never have, never will. If it works and it does the job and it performs like it should, I love it. I got no problem with it. I'm not about flash. So for me personally, what I've learned is learn to lean on your own preferences and not so much everybody else's. That's my take on things as far as the tobacco pipe and the pipe tobacco industry as a whole. Yeah. And I know I can't prove it. I don't have the statistical facts or the documentation to prove it. But I can honestly feel like when I say that some of these pipe blends, some of these cigar blends are nothing more than rehashed copies of something that was already been done, but it's just under a different name to create the illusion of choice. That could be the case too, even in the pipe world. And I believe that. And until somebody can actually prove that, then I believe, in my mind, I'm more inclined to stick with what it is that I believe until I see proof. Because I've seen the cigar world up close and personal. And that's a vicious industry. So I can only make the assumption that the tobacco world, as far as the pipe industry is concerned, the pipe tobacco world has got to be just as ruthless. Maybe it isn't. Maybe, who knows, maybe it's all, kumbaya, rainbows and unicorns type shit. But chances are it's not. To me, anyway. Because I've literally had 2 cigars from the same company, the same manufacturer, under 2 different brands, and they taste exactly the same to me. They look the same. The oils in the wrapper are the same. The place of origin where the wrappers come from is the same. Right? So it's more like you're buying the brand than you're buying the actual product, right? It's one of those things. I just wanted to get on here and talk. I know I've been on here for 35 minutes, but I don't give a shit. That's just what I've learned. I just wanted to get it off my chest, to say, hey, don't be so quick to say, oh, I got to get some of this, or oh, I got to buy some of that, or I got to, you don't got to do anything. Don't buy into all the hype and the bullshit. Listen to yourself before you believe anybody else. Especially when it comes to parting your hard-earned money into something that was full of hype, only to be disappointed in the end by it. I mean, we as kings, we have very little enjoyment as it is. Why try to ruin something else? With a huge media blitz or advertising blitz or whatever kind of hype, just to get a product sold and make somebody money, yeah? So, before this video gets any darker, kings, I hope you guys have a great day. My cigarette's done. It's time to get my ass back to work. Have a good one, kings. That's just my thoughts and my rants. We'll talk again soon.